Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the 1996 Project. Busy week this week. Got on a couple really great guests. Let's just get straight into it, and let's get into a comedy that is a bit sad. Well, the comedy is good, but just sad knowing that two of the main stars are now sadly no longer with us. It's The Birdcage.
Father and Mrs. Cole, I can't put my finger on it.
It's nothing.
What do you mean?
It's nothing.
It is
Dad,
something.
it is nothing.
The Birdcage was directed by Mike Nichols, is based on the play La Cage aux Folles, and it starred Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, Gene Hackman, and Diane Wiest, among others. It tells the story of a married gay couple in Miami, played by Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, who operate a nightclub called the Birdcage. Robin Williams' son announces that he is getting married to a woman whose mother and father are intensely conservative. In fact, the father, played by Gene Hackman, is a rather notable conservative congressman. And you can pretty much see where this goes. Basically, they have to meet because, they're getting married and all, and hijinks ensue. I had heard nothing but great things about The Birdcage, so I was really looking forward to it. Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are both great. They have really good chemistry with each other. Nathan Lane is just so much fun in this. I'm a fan of his in general, but he was just so great here. He was all over the place. And I pierced the toast. And just everything that he was doing, I just loved. And Robin Williams, we all know who he was. He's bringing it to just the whole thing, like the Fosse, like that stuff. I love that. I had seen that scene in isolation, but just the context of what led up to it was funny as well. It's a shame that Gene Hackman is sadly no longer with us, but he's really good here as well. Just the movie is all about one extreme facing another. And when that happens, it's really good. Hank Azaria is here as well. He's great. And there's just a lot to like here. I think my main problem here is that it's a bit too long. The movie's just shy of 2 hours, and I feel like the movie kind of drags in places. No, that was not a pun because there's drag in this. The pacing drags. I hope you get my point. Basically, there are a couple of jokes that I feel like you could have trimmed, maybe some stuff you could have cut out here and there. It doesn't kill the movie for me. I still really liked it, but all told, I just wasn't a big fan of the pacing overall. That being said, though, there is still a lot to like in this. It made me laugh a couple times. I'm going to give this a great rating. Pacing issues aside, this is a very well done movie. And yeah, my heart hurts knowing that Robin Williams and Gene Hackman are no longer here. Rest in peace to both of them. But now we go from one comedy to another comedy. Well, a dark comedy, if you will. But honestly, one of the greatest dark comedies of all time. Don't you know it's Fargo?
Oh, geez.
Fargo.
Fargo was directed by Joel Cohen. It was written by him and his brother Ethan, and it starred Frances McDormand, William H. Macy, John Carroll Lynch, Steve Buscemi, Peter Stormare, and more. And to help me talk about Fargo, I have my man returning from the Toxic Avenger review, Steve Mesa. Steve, welcome back. Thank you for joining.
Oh, you betcha! Thank you for having me on this program to talk about possibly. I thought it's a toss up between No Country for Old Men and Fargo in terms of what are my favorite Coen brothers movie. But this was my first exposure to Coen brothers, so I'm really looking forward to having this talk with you, sir.
I'm a big Lebowski man myself, but it's like those three are like all-timers right there. So, there's no wrong answer. But chances are, if anyone's watching this, you've seen this movie. But basic rundown of the plot is a guy by the name of Jerry Undergard, played by William H. Macy, comes up with just the worst kidnapping plan imaginable to kidnap his wife in order to get ransom money to pay back a significant loan. without spoiling too much, I mean, the movie's 30 years old, but I don't really want to give away too much. All that I'll say is that it all goes completely south, and it ultimately falls on a lowly a lowly police officer played by Francis McDormand to try and figure out what all happened and who's going to jail. So, yeah, this movie, like I came to this one pretty late. Like I've seen it before, I've seen it a few times. I came to it pretty late. But it's like I hesitate to say this is the Coens' best, but it's certainly in the conversation and they've had mostly quality in their career, but this is like easy top 3 for me. It's like this, Big Lebowski, and No Country, like I mentioned.
I actually share the same top 3 with you. But for me, it'd be No Country, Fargo. Again, both of them will fight for first place because I argue. Big Lebowski, and then right below the Big Lebowski, A Serious Man. I think a movie that should be talked about more often in the Coen's filmography. I don't think it gets enough love.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
But
yeah, man, this is I actually rewatched. I've seen it a couple times, but I rewatched it. Rewatched it today, so that way I can be all refreshed. Even though most of the lines I can, almost repeat verbatim. But and this also set up a TV series, a very excellent TV series that's even on par with what this masterpiece is from the Coens.
I have been meaning to see it. I know Martin Freeman is in it, and I am a fan of his, so I have to watch it. I just have not yet gotten around to it. But I've heard nothing but good things.
Well, the thing about that the show, right? It has many seasons, but it's each season it's like an anthology series. So it's not just Martin Freeman and Billy Bob in the first season. It's also Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons in the next season. Then you got Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ewan McGregor in one season. Then you got Chris Rock in one season. So it's like you have John Hamm and Juno Temple in one season. So I think all the seasons are great in my opinion, though I think the one with Chris Rock is a little less successful, but I think all of them are great. So if you ever get a chance, definitely, because all that humor, all the mood, the atmosphere of Fargo is successfully transplanted from the motion picture to the television series. So if you love Fargo, you're going to love the TV series.
Well, I love me a good anthology, so when you said anthology, I'm like, well, you have my attention. But this is one of those movies that got instant critical love, like as soon as it dropped, and it's only gotten more love over time. And when I first watched this, I'm like, okay, this is good. But then the more I thought about it, the more I liked it, and the more it got better over time. The performances in this are just all excellent. I mean, Frances McDormand, we all know what she's capable of. I believe she won an Oscar for this.
Correct? She did win an Oscar for it. No, yes, she did, and it also won the best original screenplay Oscar for that year.
That's the other one. I was trying to think of that other one, but she's predictably fantastic. William H. Macy,
fantastic.
He is really good. He just is such a horrible person, and I don't think, when you first watch it, you're like, it seems like a normal dude in money trouble. What's the problem? Well, he's one of those villains I like to call the road to hell is paved with good intentions, kind of villains. Because he starts out as like, okay, I need this money to pay my bills. But then he justifies darker, and darker things to himself because he thinks he's doing it for a noble cause. It's kind of like the Walter White kind of thing in Breaking Bad. I know it's a weird comparison, but that's what I've always taken from it.
I definitely see it's easily a Walter White comparison, even though I think Walter White always finds a way to escape his troubles. Jerry Lundgren is just digs deeper and deeper, and it just goes down and down, and until he finds himself surrounded in a hole that he can't escape from. I think the best way to summarize how his character is when he goes home after the kidnapping happens, and then he's practicing his lines, and you see off of it you see static shots of the different parts of the scene in the house, and you hear his voiceover as if you think he's actually feeling emotions. But then you see in the next shot, he's just like, he has no phone on him, and he's like, Jerry, geez, something happened, and he's like practicing, like, okay, I'm gonna go with this one. Like he says that meant to like go with this one. But I noticed this one part. It's like he says it. He like, Wade Gufferson, please. He says that. He says Wade Gufferson, please, in which he should be in a full panic. So that shows you how he was like kind of fucked up, and in terms of like being like kind of not acting his ass off to know that his wife got kidnapped.
Yeah, it's proper sociopathic stuff, because he's practicing, like, does this sound panicked enough, or does it sound like too much? So like he's practicing emotions rather than actually having emotions. And that's kind of part as to why like he's just such a bad person. And I don't think in any other circumstance he'd be this way, but he's up to his eyeballs in debt, and just things tend to happen when you're in a situation like that. I can only imagine. But he just makes every wrong decision in the book. He hires Peter Stormare and Steve Buscemi. Buscemi, I mean, good Lord, he's a loose cannon in this. I mean, we could talk about him all day. Stormare is as well. You just, like, Buscemi is interesting because he's one of those actors where he can go comedic, but he can go deathly serious too, and, like, no one questions it.
For sure. Like he definitely, but I mean, he had some good practice in getting this character down when he played Mr. Pink in Reservoir Dogs. So like that was probably I'm thinking his only bad guy before taking on this one, and then he would take on a whole bunch of bad guy roles from there on. Escape from a like kind of same year, kind of counted if you counted that too as well. Maybe Desperado too. But I think I think Buscemi does his Buscemi stuff, just flies off the loose cannon. If anything, it's quintessential Buscemi. This is a quintessential Buscemi performance. If you're summarizing his career, this is the perfect way to summarize his career. I mean, hell, if we wouldn't get his performance in Boardwalk Empire if he wasn't doing Fargo, because there's a good gene in Fargo that gives him the performance that he gives in the Boardwalk Empire show.
Yeah, I love Boardwalk Empire. I was going to bring it up at some point, but then you beat me to it. That show's fantastic. But just in general, like his dynamic with Stormare is just great. Like Stormare, like Buscemi just tries to like break the ice and have any kind of conversation, and Stormare's just not giving him the time of day. It's just, the movie is kind of terrifying in ways, but also really funny in a very dark sense in a kind of way. And you pick up on it the more you watch it, I think.
I mean, it sets you up for the opening crawl. It sets you up for how funny this movie is. This is based on a true story. In respect of the dead, we decided to change the name, but everything besides name change, everything else really happened. I mean, that's just Coen Brothers' brand of humor, if I say so, and that sets you up in terms of what kind of humor you're in for Fargo.
Mm-hmm. And then going back to McDormand really quick, her character, she's just a police officer. She's pregnant. Like one of the first scenes we see of her, she has like morning sickness, and we see her like throwing up, like when she's like trying to do her job and all of that. But she's good at her job, and the movie doesn't do an over the top of like, we must show that she is capable. Her actions prove that she is capable. Like, even though she is with child, like, she can figure this whole thing out, and she pretty much does. And she's kind of just, she's not like Poirot, she's not like Columbo, she's just a regular police officer, but she just figures it all out. And I love the spirit of that.
Yeah, and some of the way she figures it out, it's kind of like very it's very accidental, because then she finds all this information from like random interviews, because then you have I believe her partner interview one of the neighbors who was a bartender who overheard a guy that was living in a cabin by the lake, and that's how she was able to even find the cabin by the lake. And not only that, but also find the Tan Sierra. Found my Tan Sierra. So like it's just a matter of her just recollecting everything, just collecting everything she's gathered, thinking about all the evidence, all the interviews that have been given, and just taking all that information down and just putting it together and just figuring it out as it goes. Because I think she was on like literally on her way chasing Jerry till she found the cabin, I believe. Or no, she was on her way to the cabin as her partner was going to go try to find Jerry.
That's
But
right.
like, yeah, all of it, like, and like, there's also like random scenes too that just sort of doesn't make sense when you watch them at first, but collectively when you see it as a whole after you've probably seen it the first time, like, okay, that's why that person's talking to that person. That's why the neighbor's talking to the neighbor. That's why the ladies of the night is talking to Marge. That's why, you know, a lot of things like kind of don't make sense as the first time if you're seeing it, but then it makes sense collectively after you've seen the movie in its entirety.
Yes, couldn't agree with you more. And before I forget, shout out also to John Carroll Lynch, who plays Chief Marge's husband. He's great. Like his role's small, but I mean, John Carroll Lynch, you'll become a fan of him through this.
I mean, he's probably one of our greatest character actors living.
Agreed.
I mean, I can name definitely last year, Sorry Baby. His one scene in that movie was fantastic. It was amazing with Eva Victor, and as a potential Zodiac killer in Zodiac,
Mhm.
in that scene in the garage as a mechanic when you're getting interviewed by Ruffalo and Anthony Edwards. That scene was, he's a literal scene stealer. So you put him in a scene, he's going to take it from all of the veterans people that you put in front of him, and I think he definitely. I would love to see more John Carroll Lynch love passed around because he definitely deserves. I'm hoping someday, you know, he gets one of those juicy Oscar roles, and then it eventually leads him to, like, you know, an Oscar, or maybe an Emmy. I don't even think he's even like got any of those Golden Globes or anything. I just want to see some more John Carroll Lynch.
Yeah, much deserved that he has not gotten yet. But to wrap up this part of it, talking about Fargo, I mean, obviously it's getting an amazing grade from me. It's just a phenomenal piece of business. Everyone's acting is just great. The movie looks beautiful. Shout out to Roger Deakins. I mean, Deakins, of course, but like something about him and the Coens, it just works. And like I've never seen a bad looking Roger Deakins movie, but it just, whenever he gets with the Coens, there's something that just like it kicks in, and it just somehow makes it even better. He makes snow interesting. Like, imagine that. He makes snow interesting. And there's a pretty big shot where it's at the parking garage. You know, the one, I'm not the garage, but it's at the top of the thing where Buscemi does the thing, and then you see white, and then it goes just red. Like that is just beautiful in and of itself. I mean, you shoot a lot of pro wrestling stuff and things, so I mean, you ought to know.
Yeah, I mean, to be like, Roger Deakins is a master, pure and simple. He's one of those people that's been in the industry long enough that like he hasn't been recognized as much as he should be. Like the first Oscar he got was in 2018 for Blade Runner 2049. And then he got another one for 1917. And he's been working, like, his first Oscar was in 1994 for the Shawshank Redemption. He shot the Shawshank Redemption. He shot Fargo. He shot Oh Brother Where Art Thou. He shot No Country for Old Men, The Man Who Wasn't There, Assassination of Robert Ford, The Reader, True Grit. I mean, Skyfall. All these accolades. It just shows to prove that, like, he makes everything such a visual eye candy, and in a way he makes some of the most iconic shots. Shawshank Redemption and Fargo be speaking, and it's just it's his top tier work. I mean, he got his Oscars for Blade Runner 2049, but this is like, at least it's this for me. It's this, Shawshank and No Country, his top work, and with a little bit of Skyfall up in there too. But I love his work in Blade in 1917 because that's an amazing feat, all done in one shot. And I also love his work in Blade Runner 2049, making like a great, almost like making it like an anime / comic book come to life. Because with that movie, I mean, his work has some definite Akira influences.
Yes, and thank you for reminding me of the existence of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Because when I'm talking about Coens, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. They casually just made Homer's The Odyssey in the Deep South, and they made it a sort of kind of musical. And it's awesome. That makes no sense, but it also makes all the sense. But that's another story for another time. But I pass it off to all of you. What did you think of Fargo? Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. Steve, thank you so much for joining me to talk about this. You're over at Mason Media doing very busy, I imagine. What do you have coming up?
Surprisingly, actually not really busy at the moment. I actually taking a little bit of a break. I'm doing some real life stuff right now. So like, not the videos are not pumping as much as they should be. So I think I kind of deserve a little break after like the last couple of months of pumping. I mean, I had a video of Captain O'Hara's tribute reel. It has gone to 1 million views on Instagram, so you can check that out at SMSI85. I had Austin Creed reposted his video that I made of his career stuff, so that was something that bumped up my numbers as well. So I think getting a little break from the previous month, trying to shift certain things, refocus, and yeah, because just I've been in a way where I kind of have to take it in and not be as overloaded with work as I should be. Just step back, take a deep breath, and just let life happen. Because I'm having some like new stuff happening recently, good new stuff. But like it's been a very good change for me, and I'm trying to absorb that as much as I can before I lose focus in my work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually watched the Austin Creed, Austin Creed, Xavier Woods, Sane Human Rule, but that one was fantastic. I'll link it in the description below. Please go watch it for yourself. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, just go ahead and do it. Haven't seen the Catherine O'Hara one yet. I need to make a point of that, but I will watch that later. As far as this channel goes, we continue on with this very video. And next up in this video, Steve gets off, and probably for a good thing, because next thing I have to talk about is Hellraiser Bloodline.
Welcome to Oblivion, Hellraiser Bloodline.
Hellraiser Bloodline was directed by, well, technically Alan Smithy, but really it was Kevin Yeager. And this was the 4th overall Hellraiser movie in the Hellraiser series that just doesn't seem like it's gonna end. It paused, but it certainly didn't stop. It tells the story of a scientist in space in the far future who has the Lament configuration and is trying to figure out what all is in it. Come to find out, there's a lot of lineage behind that little puzzle box, and you see 3 generations of the Winter family trying to figure out what to do with this Lament configuration and paying for it dearly. So, bit of a confession to make. Last year on the side, I watched all of the Hellraiser movies, from first all the way up to the new Hulu one we got a couple years ago. And honestly, there's some bad ones, but mostly the series is actually quite good. First 2 especially are in a lot of ways quite underrated. Like, Hellraiser 1's great. Hellraiser 2 is just as good, if not better. Hellraiser 3 is fun. Like, They make a Cinnabite out of a DJ and he spits out CDs. But just as the movies went on, the quality just went way down, especially when they got to the direct TV or the direct to DVD era. Just bless them. Just bless them, bless them. They're not good. Hellraiser Bloodline, on the other hand, is not one of the bad ones. It's certainly not great, but it's not as bad as the series would get. I think the biggest Achilles heel here is the fact that you have Pinhead in space, and you just focus on flashback stuff. I'm not necessarily against that, especially considering that most of the flashback stuff is interesting, but you have Hellraiser in space, and I'm just saying, like, it was literally gift wrapped for you. Like, just open up the box in space and see what happens. Like, have Pinhead and his ilk show up on, like, a Nostromo-style ship. It writes itself. But sadly, we don't get that. That being said, though, I at least thought the family stuff was pretty interesting. Just how the building of the puzzle box, how the puzzle box gets passed from generation to generation. I thought it was a lot of good ideas. I mean, the movie's worth checking out for two things: seeing baby-faced Adam Scott and seeing one of the absolute coldest Pinhead lines you'll ever hear.
For God's sake, do I look like someone who cares what God thinks?
If that doesn't send chills, I don't know what does. So, yeah, in a lot of ways, the movie is disappointing, but it's not as bad as some of the others. I'm going to give this a good rating. To quote Miracle Max from The Princess Bride, I've seen worse, especially in Hellraiser. Like, Hellraiser Judgment, no. Like, you're not going to catch me saying that this is worse than Hellraiser Judgment. The movie's not all that flat out amazing, but it'll do.
And now for something completely different.
Kung Fu Kitty.
Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco.
This is gonna be good.
Rated G.
Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco was directed by David R. Ellis, director of noted family films Final Destination 2 and Snakes on a Plane. It's a joke, yes, I know. And the movie has the voice talents of Michael J. Fox, Sally Field, and Ralph White. And this is the sequel to Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. And if you saw the first Homeward Bound, it pretty much picks up where that left off. Three pets, Chance, Sassy, and Shadow, voiced by Michael J. Fox, Sally Field, and Ralph White, respectively, are lost again by their owners. Except now they're lost in San Francisco, and they have to find their way back. And that's your movie. But to help me cover this is my tag partner over in Multiplex/Blockbuster Brawl. It's Zach Shelton. Zach, welcome back. How are you?
Good. Yeah. Thanks for having me on here. Always fun to review a movie with you.
Yeah. So this was the sequel to Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey, which is not. I'm not going to do a full-fledged review of it in this review, but what I will tell you is that movie is so much fun, but really, really scary and sad, especially near the end there. Especially the part where Shadow gets stuck in that ditch. Wow.
Yes, I really like Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. I think it has a lot of good adventure to it, and it has those emotional moments. This one, I'll just start off different vibes for me.
I agree. Definitely agree with you on that. But the cast returns from the last one. Michael J. Fox, Ralph White, and Sally Field are the mains here. And I like the chemistry between all three. The animals don't actually speak, but there's so much personality with all of them that you just never really notice. And so I think there's a certain amount of talent that you have to extract from that to pull that off. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, I like the way that they do it, because it's like if they were talking, I feel like it would come off very kooky in a way. It
Mhm.
wouldn't seem natural.
Yes, 100%. But the main voice, though, for me, the main character at least was Chance, played by Michael J. Fox. And Michael J. Fox is, I don't want to harp on, we all know about Parkinson's and all of that. Well, I mean, that story has been told. Like, he'll probably happy to tell you that himself. But he is an actor that is like, he's just known for Back to the Future, and he's great in those movies, but I feel like he has performances that get overlooked. And not saying this is his best work here, but I've always loved him in these. He's very likable. He's still acting. He was just in Zootopia too. Didn't realize that until today, but he's still going. So God bless him for that. But in my opinion, in these movies, he's the main character, and I feel like Shadow is the comic relief, and then or Sassy's the comic relief, and Shadow is like the straight man or straight dog. Let's just call it the straight dog, if you will. That's how I see it.
Yeah, he's like the wise old soul, if you want to say that. Like that's Shadow.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But and even with, I was gonna say, even with Chance, it's like, yes, he's the main character. He's also partly comic relief too, because it's like he has that such big personality that like he gets himself in so many situations that should not, but he finds his way out of it. So
yes, and then you get Sally Field, who, I mean, it's Sally Field. She tends to normally be good in whatever she is in. And then Ralph Waite, Ralph Waite, excuse me. I kept calling him White. It's Ralph Waite. But I just know him for these movies, but he was in quite a few movies. He was in The Bodyguard, the Whitney Houston movie, so he was around. And I always loved his voice. It's a strange thing to like, but I always liked his voice. Like, it just like had like a grandfather quality to it. I don't know. I always liked it.
yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, I don't think he voiced Shadow in the first one. I think that was Don Ameche, but I think he passed away after the first one. So
Yes,
if I remember correctly, so, but I mean, they sound very similar, so it was an easy transition. So
this movie is kind of weird to me in that I watched this about like 20,000 times growing up, so I know it like the back of my hand. I've seen Incredible Journey less, but I kind of prefer that one more, just because I feel like the drama was upped a little bit with The Incredible Journey. I mean, that movie has just some crazy stuff in it. The ditch stuff. Chance gets shot in the face with a porcupine. He's got quills like all in his face, and he has to like get him removed. That's just nuts. And here, Chance nearly gets run over by a truck at the end of this. Like, not just like a Ford, like an F-150, like a semi-truck. They nearly get run over by a plane. And I mean, run over by a plane. I'm sure the plane would have missed him, but still, the plane just like it was close enough to where it was like, if you're a little kid, you're like, the plane's gonna kill these animals. Like, what are we doing, Disney? Like, this is a bit too much.
yeah, I will say, like, yeah, like you have those moments, but to start off, I think in a way this doesn't have the same, like, it feels a little in a way like safer. It's a safer movie than the first one. The first one I feel like took more risks, and maybe that's being outdoors, but I feel like that had that aspect to it, and this one just didn't have as much of weight to it.
And then there's also the part in Incredible Journey where where Sassy nearly drowns in a river.
Yeah.
She gets saved by a nice old man, but still, she nearly drowns. But to your point, couldn't agree with you more. I feel like this one, like, they're in a city, yes. Cities for pets without like it, like, in certain contexts can be pretty dangerous. I'm not going to discount that, but I feel like, to your point, it feels like the most danger that they're in is like dog poachers. Like, okay, sure, but like And God bless David R. Ellis. He really did try to make the blood red van seem pretty intimidating. Like every time
Yeah.
it comes, like, it's the blood red van, hide. So I appreciate the attempt, but I feel like you can't do the woods again. So like a
No.
city, I get it, but I feel like, to your point, it just like it feels like a bit like covered up, like,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
I completely agree. I mean, there are some positives, though. I think the new characters that you meet, I think they definitely help in the story, because at least you have more characters to kind of like learn about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And you got a chance getting a love interest, and
Yeah.
that was an interesting development. You got weird celebrity cameos too. Like, you got these three dogs who are played by Al Michaels, Tommy Lasorda, and Bob Uecker, who are all like sports broadcasters. Bob
Yeah.
Uecker, I mean, Mr. Baseball, we all know who that is. I don't watch baseball, and I know who Bob Uecker is, or was. Tommy Lasorda, again, I know who that is. Al Michaels, we all know who that is. But it's like these three dogs just randomly just being like, I'm Sparky Michaels, I'm Lucky Lasorda. Like, I'm sure kids are going to know who they are. That part was just weird to me.
It was, again, it seemed like it just, I don't know, it seemed like something that just was thrown in there just to throw them in there, just to have cameos. It's like I'm fine with it, but it just, again, it seemed kind of thrown in.
It just seems weird. In 96, like, I get it, Al Michaels was and still is a name, but in 96, I guess he was still active, but I just had to be like, that's a weird get.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, you got the romance between Chance and the other dog, I believe Sledge is the name?
The love interest is Delilah.
That's the one. Yes, I got the names confused. I did like that, and I always have liked that. Voiced by Carla Gugino, of all people. I did not realize that until today, too.
Yeah, I didn't. I never knew who voiced Delilah, but now I do. So I feel like it fits, though. Like, the way her voice is, I feel like that works for a love interest, as always.
Yes. And then you also have Sinbad, who voices one of the dogs, Riley. You got the always great Stephen Tobolowsky. No matter what he's in, he's always on. You got Will Sasso in a brief role. So, like, if you're into character actors, it's like a game of who can you spot? Like, where's Waldo? But for, like, people in movies that you definitely recognize, but you don't know the name of.
Exactly. So,
and I guess to elaborate further on your point, I feel like it kind of has the problem that Home Alone 2 had. I know it's a weird example, but it's what I was thinking about, is that with Home Alone 2, it's good. I've always liked Home Alone 2, but we've seen it before. And I feel like with Homeward Bound 2, it's good, but we've seen it before. And the pets get lost again. So what can you do with that? I feel like there's just enough to keep it going, but the premise is stretched all the way too thin. That's my biggest problem.
I agree with you. Again, it's something we've seen before. I like that they tried to do something different, but it just didn't have the same, like, effect. And, like, I think we both agree, it didn't have that same effect like the first one did.
Yes. However, it gets a little extra for me because I did grow up watching this. I still have some nostalgia for it. My score is going to be a little higher. I'm going to give this a great rating. Again, I normally would go good because it is definitely inferior to Incredible Journey, but there's enough stuff in this that I still like, that I'm like, you know what? It's not all-timer, but it's very enjoyable. And it's a very easy watch too. The movie's 89 minutes long. You can breeze right on through it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't waste your time. It gets in, it gets out. And so I feel like for that effort, I feel like I I feel like it should be at least given a nice amount of praise.
Yeah, I'm in the above average to good territory. So I would like for mine, I would maybe out of like 5, maybe like a 3.5 to a 4, like in that range. I still think it does its job. It just if you compare it to the original, it's just it's a little different. So
I think to put a finer point on it is that both Homeward Bound 1 and 2 are both really good, and you should check out both. And we'll just
yes,
leave it at that. But I pass it off
I
to all of you. Pass it off to all of you. What did you think of any of the movies I've talked about this week? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. Zach, thank you so much for joining me for this portion of the 1996 project video for this week. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, again, thanks for having me. Mainly, you could find me on Letterboxd and YouTube. My channel is Movie Fan Z. I just review movies, a lot of older ones, but come check it out.
Yep, all those links down below. Subscribe to him over there. As far as this channel goes, next week we have an eclectic bunch. One of them is a documentary of sorts, and one of them is a Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal movie where Kurt Russell has to board a plane in midair. And that's all I'm leaving you with. But for Zach, for Steve, and for everyone else this week, my name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one. Y'all take care.